Hello guys, welcome to Zach Animate Studios, your channel number one for coding, animation and live coding. So today I wanted to show you an old code that I had in mind. This was a combination of cocktails. You can imagine the art of knowing how to create applications using the framework of Angular, that is Angular a background knowledge of TypeScript. Basically it uses like I used Ionic framework on that, and then the background of using Visual Studio, that is C#, in combination with DevExpress. DevExpress is one of the most amazing softwares I've ever used in terms of creating rapid application. So you can imagine creating a rapid application that is creating a backend using DevExpress. Here is the application. So let me just reload this page and let's take a look at the backend of this of that database. So basically you create a page that has a login, and then all you do is to create functions of the other types of functions that you just want to concentrate on. The types of records are all kept taken care of, and then there is no password. They just you log in. So you log into the system. It has a login. As you can see on my system, I have Visual Studio Code. This is the code for the app. That is, the app looks like this. Yes, and then you can log in Zakayo Ringo Zakayo 123 at Gmail 123 at gmail.com, and then password. So login. I'm hoping the services are working. So this was the API. The API. Also, we need to have these are the APIs that I used to create. Basically, this is the logging API, this is the itinerary API, all these functions. So guys, over the years I had to learn how to create. Now basically these are UI. I used Dashlight. I think I downloaded it and then I used it. I used Dashlight, and then I designed now the login, the login page, and also the register page. I think it has a register page, and then we have the backend. I think, let me see, it's still running. Let me just look at this part. Yeah, we have now the backend. So we have the itineraries. Those are the itineraries you had to create. Basically you can create it from, you can now create your own itineraries. Here is how you do it from the backend. So basically you create an entire system from the back of your website. So either we just can just fill in, give it a name like itinerary one, start date, start date, maybe end date. Tags, you can give it a tag. Locations, either you are in Nairobi, so with that, Nairobi, and then you save. Users, you can assign users like Zach, and then you save. That is now you're filling in the data. At the end of all this information, we need to get that information back to our application. So our application whereby we're going to get those information back. So most of the applications consume database. Okay, they normally use database. And let's see, the itinerary has been saved. So users, we have users, that is Zach as the user. You can give it many users. Okay, that is the system user. That is when you are logging into the system. But now these users are now the people who are being signed up on the application. So basically, XAF framework is a very rapid, it's a very good application. So we can take a look and see how we created this table. So like the tables, the teams, the suppliers. So let's just go back to our Visual Studio Code. The application is still running. So this is the API. This is the API function. You can see to a writer API. So the API has this account controller. Let's go to Solution Explorer. I think you have to stop, which is okay. Let's just stop it. Hope it's not going to break. Let's just stop it for now, and then we go to that. Okay. Good. It has stopped without breaking. That's good. So we have the itinerary controller. So this is basically, this is a one function. This is a controller that just handles the itineraries. Okay, now we have already opened the itinerary controller. We're just going to take a look and see what type of codes we had written in itinerary controller. So on the itinerary controller, we had created a get function, get itineraries. Now this one is going to bring all the itineraries. It has a function of get. Hey, hopefully the computer is not going to break down. But so we have the function get itineraries. So what I did, we had to a writer entities. How you get data. So basically, from the database, that is the SQL server, MySQL SQL server. There was a database called to a writer, and that to a writer we had to compile it to a function called entities. The way you do that, you're going to create a folder inside. You're going to create a folder. Maybe we call it data, because this is going to have a data. There are two ways I did. One, I used an XPO. XPO is data from Dev Express functions. Basically, they provide you with data, but if you want to use now the Microsoft version of data, I had to use the model. So you create a model. So basically what I did, I created a model, and that model it's going to have it's going to, when you're going to create a data, that model is going to have, so you're going to create all the entities of that database. the type of data, the type of files, the type of all the data entries on the database. So basically you're going to have a model for all the database, that is all the tables on that database, where we have itinerary, we have users, we have teams, and all that. So all these are called entities. In a nutshell, they are more of an entities. So that's what happens here. That's what's happening on the tour writer. So all that function, all those elements are in an entity. So we created an expand object, data object, which we had to make it an expand object, and then so that data, the expand data, so that when it comes to the database, to that application, it is already been converted, so that it can be used in any part of the controller. So we had to convert it. So when the data comes first, we're going to change. We are going to find if the data will find message. If we'll get the data, if it has message, we're going to find data, we're going to provide. If we're going to find data, we're going to provide a message for it. We got the data, and by default, the data when is it was false. So we had to use try catch. We are bringing in data from this DB itineraries. Now from that data entity, this is what we call, this is the entity model. This is the entity model that has all the data. If it's going to find the data that you are requesting, and then it is going to bring that data, and then you're going to for loop that data and bring it to the system. If we find the data, then we return data, and if it is false, it's going to give a false data. So this was get data function, and then also we have now get by ID data. The same principle is used on that part. And then also we had to create data. This creation of data, that is adding data into the database, and then also deleting data into the database. That is the put function, that is creating data into the database. If it finds that data on that database, so basically we had to use all the CRUD functions for create, update, delete. So that was what was on our API. So basically API calls that data, it converts that data into a JSON format, and then that data is then presented out, and then it can be consumed by any application. From the upside, we had a global service. This is the global service. This is where it's going to listen. It's going to listen from the endpoints, the endpoints of so we had the endpoints for getting data. So basically we had to create the first functions for accepting data. If we're going to get data from the database, we are going to bring that data. So basically we had the endpoints, we provide the endpoint, and then the functions for piping the data so that it can be displayed to any of the pages of the application. So this is the first view of the application. So in the next video, we're going just to show you, we're going to run and test the application and see all this function into place, where we have the login function, get itinerary. Now basically the functions where we have get itineraries within the application, the functions where we are going to that is login. We're going to create new users into our application, register also users into our application, and then create supplier into our application, all those functions, so that all these can end up creating a simple applications that we have. So guys, let's get a 5-minute break and then come back. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. Cheers.